Hey everybody, and welcome back to Uncle Pookie's Barbecue. As most of us have been, we in this house have been stayed at home, whatever they want to call it, social distancing and all that. And the one thing we've really been craving is some good Mexican food. We've got a lot of Mexican restaurants around, and they do take out, but if you're like me, by the time you get something home, it's just not as good as when you're able to eat it fresh at the restaurant at the table. So we are going to do a smoked chicken enchilada. And I'm actually going to use a method of spatchcocking the chicken. It's where you basically cut the backbone out of the chicken and lay it flat. Makes for a more uniform cooking surface, so the chicken kind of gets done a little bit more even. You don't have, like you do with turkey sometimes, when you do a whole turkey, you may have to temp the white meat at one temperature and the dark meat at another. So spatchcock, it lays flat. It's a good method to do whole chickens like this. And we're going to do that. We're going to smoke the chicken. And then, thanks to Sam, the cooking guy, I'm going to steal his recipe for the enchilada makings, the peppers and the cheese and the cream and all that. So we'll go through the whole thing here in just a minute. But appreciate y'all tuning in. If you will, subscribe to the channel so that we can keep you informed when we do put out new videos. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and let's get going. Okay guys, welcome back. We are going to get started here spatchcocking this whole chicken, and essentially all that is cutting the backbone out of the whole chicken and then breaking the breastbone open so that we can pretty much lay it flat instead of just doing the chicken, beer can style or something like that. I found that spatchcocking the chicken gives it a little more level cooking surface so that all parts of the chicken get done a little more evenly. So nothing special about this particular chicken. Got it from a local Kroger, and I'm just going to take it out of the wrap here. It's been thawing for a couple of days. And I do like to just take a little whiff of the chicken just to make sure that nothing crazy is going on with it here, that there's no weird smells or anything kind of odd going on with it. As it thaws, you want to make sure that nothing went a little crazy while it was thawing out or anything like that. So I'm just going to come through here and take my heavy duty shears. You're not going to cut through these bones and cartilage on the back of this chicken with just a plain old pair of scissors. You want to get some heavy duty poultry shears, something along those lines, and you just basically find this backbone and cut right along either side of it. It's a very simple process, nothing too crazy about it. And you can go from either way, go from the inside or the out once you've got it busted open. But do be careful, don't catch your fingers in your shears. The meat gets cold, your fingers may get a little numb. That's not going to be very good to add a hospital bill to the grocery bill here. So just be real careful when you're doing that. Just go ahead and cut right down that spine. There's always one little section that just doesn't want to behave. There we go. And now comes time for the fun parts, when you just kind of go around. Like I've said before, I'm a little OCD. You'll find that you can cut and pull and trim for days, even on a single little chicken. But there's always some little scrap or something in here that's just not really what you want to be left in there cooking. So now really that's not too bad of a setup, just like it is right now, as far as getting ready to throw it on the smoker. It is fairly uniform. If you hold it up like that, now in this situation for these chicken enchiladas, I'm not concerned at all about saving the skin, making it crispy, anything like that. So I'm going to cook this chicken like this anyway, skin down, but I do want to just go ahead and, like I said, you'll find, especially in a whole chicken, you'll find pieces of organs and other things that you just want to go ahead and try to get rid of as much as you can. It's going to cook away, and then again, this layer of skin in here is going to protect it, but still, if I can cut it out now, I'm going to cut it out now. Just go ahead and clean it up as best I can and make it as neat. As I've said before, the more you do now, the less you got to do later on when it's closer to eating time. And in this case, when we're preparing the enchiladas and pulling this chicken apart, that's just that much less I have to worry about come that time. So I'm going to go ahead. What you would normally do, and again, I may go ahead and leave this because it is already kind of flattened out, but what you can do, you can feel where this breastbone is, and you also see the line right there where the two pieces of breast meat meet up. And you just want to kind of give it CPR. You can hear it. It's not going to sound off very well in this video, but that's what you're basically doing, is just trying to break this sternum, break that where it'll lay flatter and give you a more uniform cooking surface. It's all the same thickness across, then it's not going to take as much time to get done. Now, I didn't really flatten that too much. It's a good thick bird as it is. I'm trying to find that bone, if I can break one more, make it just a little more flat. And actually, I think I am going to just go ahead and leave that like it is, because it is relatively uniform in thickness. Now, some of this here on the sides will get a little crispier, a little done quicker, but the bulk of your meat right in here is all about the same thickness, so we're looking at the same cook time all the way across. So I'm going to get some paper towels real quick and get this cleaned up and get ready for seasoning, so hold on just a minute. Alright, we're back. I just wanted to get some paper towels to kind of clean off some of this liquid, some of this moisture off of this cutting board and off of the chicken. I really want to clean it up and see. This is the first time, not the first time I've spatchcocked a chicken, but the first time I've done it for this recipe, so I want to really kind of examine what I'm doing here as far as getting flavor down into this meat. Mainly all we're really looking for is a good smoky flavor, because you're going to have all your other flavors from your enchiladas coming through, but still, whatever else we can get, I'm curious of to see. So, alright, again, I'm just going to kind of look and see, examine. I think what I'm going to do, I've done this before with the turkey, I think I'm going to poke through these ribs, try to get a little areas where moisture can come through and where some of this flavor may bleed through. I don't want to poke all the way through to the skin the other side, but anywhere that we can get some extra flavors, go ahead and open up some of the skin here a little bit just to see. Oh yeah, see there's a big pocket there we can get some seasoning down into. Same here, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And that way too, as the moisture and the natural moisture of the chicken starts coming through, that's just going to let more of those flavors come through too. Again, we're not going to be concerned with the skin on this at all. This is just, that skin's going to be an insulator for this seasoning. So get myself a clean hand here. get ready to put a nice dose of my salt and pepper love here. I'm not going to worry about coating the skin side because, again, that's just an insulator. It's not going to do anything for the flavor of the meat. Yeah, so we can get these thigh areas under the skin, get a little down in there under the skin. As the juice and the fat renders in this chicken and gets down in all these crevices and everything, we're going to be seasoning that meat throughout, so no problems there. Way on down in there. And again, a little OCD, but get rid of some of these little skins and stragglers. And I want a little extra bump in the peppers and the garlic, so we throw in a little garlic butter seasoning. Garlic butter love. And there you have it. Quick and easy on the trim. Get you a good pair of shears, maybe from Mad Cow. Thank you to them for sponsoring us and supplying our needs there. Cut that backbone out like so. Discard it, and that way you can lay everything out flat. If you do have one that's got a stronger curve to it, like I said, you can break that sternum. But we're going to be all right here because it's just going to lay down flat. And we're not super thick and super thin. It's a pretty uniform thickness right now, so that's what we're going to keep. We're going to let the skin be an insulator for the meat. And I'm going to go ahead and get the ceramic grill ready to go and get the temperature meter set up, and we'll be right back. Now, I know I've brought this up before, but one of the things I really like about this Jealous Devil is how hot it burns and how big the pieces are, so that you get so much leftover. Everything that's burning in this fire chimney right now that's getting spilled on my patio is leftover charcoal from a previous cook. And that is just a pretty scene right there. But I had enough left over to fill up this large Weber charcoal chimney to restart, and then I put fresh coals in the Grilla, and that is what we've got going right now. So I'm gonna get this chicken ready to go, get this grill stabilized, and we'll be good to go. Stay tuned. Alright, so the grill is up to temp. It's about 400 degrees, which is a little hot, but we're going to go ahead and get this chicken on. Like I said earlier, I'm not too worried about the skin getting too dark or anything like that. And we're going to use the tap cue again. We did a few weeks ago on the last video. And I'm going to use this dual sensor probe that I showed before that has the little ambient air temperature probe. Alright, sorry about the technical difficulties here, but we're going to try this again. We're going to put the meat probe in. This is the TapQ dual sensor probe. The meat, of course, probe sensor is in the end, and then there is, it's hard to see, but there's a air temp or pit temp probe here at the top. We showed you that in the last video. So I'm going to probe right inside here, try to get some into the breast meat and away from any bones. There we go. So that the air probe is still going to read the air temp, and then the meat probe is going to tell me what this chicken is running. Don't want to leave this lid open too long before the heat just gets away from us. And again, you're not really going to be able to see too much on the camera, but our meat temp is 55 degrees and our air temp is steadily rising. It's at 93, 96. So great little setup here from TapQ. Real happy to have them on board. And we'll monitor this from my phone. Keep an eye on that air temp. I want to keep it under 400 degrees if possible. It had gotten over 400, so we turn back the air dampers on top and bottom, and we will go ahead and let this chicken do its thing. So we'll check back in a little bit. All right, I don't know how well you can see this, but the phone app is showing that the chicken internal temp is 174. So that is perfect timing. I'm going to go ahead and pull the chicken off the grill. It's been right around 400 degrees, so this has taken, it is 5:26, and it was put on just a little bit after 4 o'clock. So we'll say an hour and a half at 400 degrees to get the chicken up to 174. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the grill, let it rest for a little bit. We're going to shred it and then bag it up and do part 2 tomorrow. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and stay tuned for the next part. Here we go, guys. We have the smoked chicken from last night, refrigerated. I went ahead and just shredded the mostly white meat. I threw a little bit of the dark meat in there. I'm not going to waste any chicken that I don't have to. We're going to mix. I'm going to start here with just a little bit of chicken to see how far it's going to go. I have to mix a little more in here. Got some shredded pulled chicken, a little bit there, and we're going to mix in. Oh, by the way, this recipe, thank you to Sam the cooking guy. I saw this recipe last year and almost immediately put it on my chart of scheduled recipes to do. He used just the regular grocery rotisserie chicken. I, of course, wanted to smoke the chicken. So we're going to mix in a little salsa verde. We can get that in the shot there. A little green salsa. If I can get it open, will be the next question. Mix some of that in. Try to keep all this in the frame here. And I'm going by his recipe. We're going to add the diced green chilies, a 4-ounce can, old school can opener here. We'll keep it simple. I was looking at this recipe. I was kind of considering it to be a more advanced recipe, but really it is fairly simple. And what did I do with my fork here? Okay. And his recipe, he calls for some smoked chipotle pepper. I'm going to replace that, since we smoked the chicken, I'm going to replace it with a little bit of the diced jalapenos. I want a little extra heat. I'm not going to use the whole can. I'm afraid that might get a little bit too hot for my wife. She's not as big of a fan of the hot stuff, but we'll use about half this can, about 2 ounces. See how that works out. Future recipe, future time of cooking it, I may go with a little bit more. But right now, I don't want to set the house on fire, especially when we're in a stay-at-home deal like we are right now. Last thing I want is the house to be full of a bunch of tore up stomachs. So we'll mix that in a little bit. Let's get it all mixed around. And I'm going to add a little bit of something else too that Sam's video did not have in it. Got plenty of cheese, but I'm going to mix in a little Mexican cheese, a Mexican blend. It is Monterey Jack, mild cheddar, queso, and asadero cheeses, if I said that right. I'll mix a little bit of this into this mix. just so we can have an extra cheesy blend here. And that ought to be good for now. Another thing we're going to do, we're going to open up a can of just regular chicken broth. That's what he used to soften these flour tortillas we're going to roll up here. So, well, that sounded like a pretty good idea. So that's what I'm going to do here. I've often wondered how they soften up these flour tortillas to roll. That looks like what he's done. That's what I'm going to do. The good thing is you can do one, and as you're mixing and rolling the next one, you can throw the next one in there. Now, in the pan itself, we're just going to put some regular heavy whipping cream. It's going to kind of help to create the sauce, the cheesy goodness of the enchilada sauce. And it's also going to kind of lubricate the bottom. Oh, I'm going to pause it just for a minute. I need a plate. Alright, we're back. See, everything was the same. No trick photography going on here. Alright, so we're going to throw in a little bit of this mixture. Chicken and peppers and cheese. Maybe a little bit too thick. Let's thin that out just a little bit so we can roll that. Alright. And we're going to roll it up in a tight cigar there. Lay it seam side down. Oh, and I messed up already when I took the one tortilla out. I didn't put one in, so we're going to learn as we go here. Alright, as this one is drip drying, let's throw another one in so we don't make that same mistake again. Get ready to put some more chicken mix in here. Cheese, some peppers. And we're going to roll this one tight up, seam side down. And the next tortilla goes down, and the next one comes out. Same thing. We'll roll them up, and I'm going to stay quiet here for just a minute while we can fast forward through some of this. Alright, there we go. We'll put this off to the side for a minute. We've got our mixture loaded. We've got 6 tortillas rolled up with the chicken enchilada, the peppers. Now the fun stuff. We're going to throw on a good amount of the shredded Monterey Jack cheese. I don't think we can have too much cheese on here, so I'm going to spread it in there pretty good. Make sure we get some down in the cream, and we're going to add a little more cream over the top, just to make sure this sauce comes out perfect. Again, I don't think we can have too much, so we're going to be in good shape. I'm going to throw this in the oven for 30-35 minutes. I'm going to watch as we get this cheese melted. I don't want it to get too hot, but I'm going to put it in at 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and we will come back at you here just shortly, and you will see the finished product. We'll be right back. Well, here we go, everybody. We're back, and I'm going to try to tilt this without burning myself. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this real well, but these look absolutely awesome. Just a little bit of golden brown around the edges, a lot of cheesy cream around here. I did reposition before I put them in the oven. I got one a little bit too full, so I went ahead and repositioned. I still have 6 in this pan, but put one this way since I didn't fill up all the way lengthwise. And 2, it makes for a easier ability to pull this one out. Bust through that cheesy little crust there. Get this one out to try for you. Lost some of my fillings, so we're going to put that on the plate as well. And see if I can move this out of the way. Got the family in the other room just about to go nuts waiting to try this out. So I'm going to go ahead. It's still mighty warm. I don't know if you can see any of this steam coming off of it, but I'm going to try to give this a try without burning myself. Oh, hot. Very hot. Mmm. Thank you, Sam, the cooking guy, for doing this recipe and giving me the idea. Wow, this is really, really good. I like adding the jalapeno to it. Gosh, that is so good. The green chilies are good, but the jalapeno adds a little bit more heat that I like. You can still taste a little bit of the smoky flavor in the chicken, and it's just creamy, cheesy goodness right here. So, and really not that difficult. I'll try to run down exactly what we did. We smoked a whole chicken. I wanted to do the spatchcock style just to show you another method of cutting the chicken up and smoking it that way instead of just being a whole on edge chicken, kind of like you do with a turkey. Did a wonderful job. The TapQ dual probe thermometer did great on keeping up with the pit temperature as well as the temperature of the meat at the same time with one probe. That was great. Smoked the chicken for almost right around an hour and a half to get it to an internal temperature. I went a little over. Normally we cook white meat to 165. I went to 175 just because I knew I wanted it thoroughly cooked, and it was still a little bit cold when I put it on, but also knowing it was going into this rich, creamy sauce, I wouldn't have an issue with dry chicken meat. Let it cool overnight after I pulled it. We just mixed the chicken with some salsa verde, some green salsa, some green chili peppers, and a little bit of jalapeno, diced jalapeno. And then I went ahead and put a little bit of the Mexican cheese in with that mix as well. Just wanted to make a thoroughly cheesy mixture. We just baked it at 350 for 35 minutes to get this nice little golden brown crust, and put some more cheese over the top of it before we put it in the oven, and it was absolutely phenomenal. So not a difficult recipe at all. A little bit involved smoking the chicken beforehand and then putting everything together the next day, but still, I can see right now this is going to be a household staple dinner from now on. So thank y'all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe the video. Subscribing just gets you on the list to be notified whenever we do put out a new video. Thank y'all for watching, and just keep on going. If you have any questions or anything I can help with, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram or message in the videos. I do try to respond to any messages I get on there. So thank y'all for watching, and have a good evening.